If you guys had to select one of the most dangerous doubles moves in all of creation with base power and just the sheer power of it, and then you add on Helping Hand and Terastallization of its typing for an extra Terra plus an extra stab boost, what would you come up with? If you said Calyrex Frost Rider, you're right. Looking at the thumbnail, Frost Sovereign is going to run this. And you're like, well, Retro, this is an 18-minute video. What is going on here? Oh, yes. You guys only deserve the best. And for the, as of recording this, the last video that I have backed up on the 8th here, you guys deserve a double header, doubles Wi-Fi battle. And they're both doubles, and they're both on the casual ladder, because Regulation G is not out yet. This is a peek into my Regulation G team. Let me know about the music and the video and everything down below and how I'm doing. Thank you guys so very much. Let's go ahead and jump into this. This is going to be more of a live style commentary, so I hope you guys like it. By the way, my team is Mega Man X themed. If you can't tell by the names, I'm going to leave those down below in the description. So we have Lady Vixen and Striker. We have Fury and Sovereign, and the whole idea here is Terastallization Ice Glacial Lance. And let me tell you, that pierces through even anything, even if it's defensive, it doesn't even matter. If you guys are interested in the showdown battle that I had with this team, there is something that I can't even understand how on planet Earth that Frost Sovereign was actually able to withstand. Let me know in the comment section down below if you want to see it. I don't really do Showdown too much, so as of recording this, originally I just had a Showdown series for this, but now I've got a whole segment on this beautiful team. There's a Helping Hand followed up by a Drain Punch into the Kyurem. Annihilate, I want to do as much residual damage into that as possible. He crits me. I'm actually a defensive Annihilate spread, so I probably could have actually taken that. It's interesting that he opts for the Helping Hand instead of going for the Aurora Veil. I've seen the idea of this team created by actually a pretty big YouTuber with the Kyurem White doubles team, so I'm not surprised to see it. Now, you're going to be like, well, Retro, Glacial Lance doesn't do anything to either one of those Pokemon. That's kind of where you're wrong. Because the other cool thing about turning into Ice Terra type, I'm already Ice type, so the Snow that I have up on the field already gives Calyrex Ice Rider an additional defense boost. If you pair that with the fact of Chilling Neigh, man, the only thing that would make this cooler is if I had, like, a defense or a way to recover my HP, like a Clefairy or something. Clefairy might be a very interesting add to this team, I'm not going to lie. So the Kyurem is backed up with Helping Hand, and I'm like, yeah, you're not doing anything. I'm going for Aurora Veil. I don't even care if you go for Blizzard. You can't freeze either one of my Pokemon. And Frost Sovereign evades the Draco. That would have done like 30%. Let's keep in mind that you've already lowered your special attack sharply. I get the Trick Room up, and now Frost Sovereign is the fastest thing on the field. I couple this up with going into Chi and Pow, which its Ruin effect is actually going to reduce the defense of every Pokemon on the field currently. And you couple that with a 130 base attack with Stab, with Terastallization, that hits both players that are not under an Aurora Veil. Ouch! You talk about massive, massive sheer ice-cold power. Lady Vixen is going to swap out, as I said, into Chi and Pow. Mr. Fury! And I love this thing's ability. Sword of Ruin is going to reduce all those defenses, and now we're just going to drop a Glacial Lance on the field. I noticed when I was actually doing the thumbnail for this particular video, the Lance, and Corey was like, Retro, the Lance isn't used in an attack, it's actually just shot out, and I was like, wow, that's crazy. So I actually had to do all the pieces separately to get this thumbnail. Now he sets up the Aurora Veil. I just wanted the Kyurem White knocked out because it's a major threat just in general. It's a major powerhouse that I just don't want to deal with Calyrex Ice Rider. He now goes into Okie Dokie, one of the other most defensive checks, and not even to matter the fact that this particular Okie Dokie isn't going to stay poisoned for very long. We're going to go with a Sacred Sword into the Ninetales and hopefully mitigate the Aurora Veil with the defense drop from Sword of Ruin. Now, I'm thinking Okidogi is a pretty scary guy. I mean, he could go for Drain Punch. However, Frost Sovereign would take that incredibly well just because we have the snow up on the field. And we're, of course, terastallized. He terastallizes into water. And it is at this point with Aurora Veil and water that I'm just like, wow, I am not going to be able to break this. He goes for a Helping Hand into Okidogi, and I was like, okay, there's a Drain Punch with my name on it. I go for High Horsepower, and I'm thinking I should have actually done more. That attack just bounced off. That Drain Punch does absolutely nothing. That Sacred Sword doesn't do anything either, but it is the fact that we are wearing down both of these threats. Now, realistically, I probably should have protected here, because the entire point of Chi and Pal being on the field is to reduce my opponent's defense for Glacial Lance. There is absolutely no point at this particular turn that I should not protect. And in my mind, I was like, I need to protect, but I need to double up on the Ninetales. But there's no point to double up on the Ninetales. The Aurora Veil is already on the field. The Helping Hand is going to go off, so those things are going to happen. So I go for a Glacial Lance. Now keep in mind, this is a resisted hit, ladies and gentlemen, backed up by Aurora Veil. And it still does a quarter. An entire quarter. Okidogi heals almost all of that HP back, and the Ninetales is not getting worn down anytime soon. But now, unfortunately, our Sword of Ruin is gone, which means now we no longer have those defense drops. The Vixen is going to come back in and put the snow up, which is going to help a little bit, but now I got to come up with a decision. And I'm looking at it, I probably need like 4 more Glacial Lances, but there is a small little boon here, and that is the fact that I have Helping Hand. We're trying to offset the fact of Aurora Veil. I was like, alright, Aurora Veil's got a lot of turns left, Trick Room has 1 more turn, so it's really important to set my stuff up and go for a Helping Hand boosted Glacial Lance, and to make sure I also get my Aurora Veil back up as well. Because let me tell you something, this Okidogi is still Poison type, and that is super effective to Ninetales. So I go for a Helping Hand here, and I just need to get the Ninetales out. That will make it and mitigate it where the Helping Hand doesn't continue to go off. And from this range, the Glacial Lance with Helping Hand does knock out the Ninetales and brings the Okidogi to a really nice range. I'm thinking I might actually be able to knock it out, but then my heart sinks. Remember, now I get an attack boost from the Chilling Neigh. And that Helping Hand Poison Jab, we do not get poisoned, and we live on abysmal 0 HP. Now, we could very well go for the Freeze Dry here. I'm pretty sure that Fluttermane is going to target into the Ninetales, and then Okidogi could probably target into Frost Sovereign, but I think I could take a Moonblast plus a Drain Punch. I decide here that Aurora Veil has 3 turns left. Forgive me, I was incorrect. With Aurora Veil having 3 turns left, I decide to Helping Hand and make the max out of Chilling Neigh. I decide not to set up the Trick Room. I opt to believe that Frost Sovereign can take 1 hit from both of these Pokemon. Let's see if I'm right. Here comes the Moonblast. We take it phenomenally. Here comes the Drain Punch. We take that with like 30 damage. And let me tell you something. Terastallization, Helping Hand, Stab, and boost off Terra into Fluttermane, this thing is not living. Yeah, that is gone. And Okidogi also goes down. We broke the Terra Water Okidogi with the Glacial Lance. What did I tell you guys? We could pierce absolutely anything. It is the spirit of our hearts that... Yeah, I tried to say something cool. So, he is not the Honcho today. He goes down with a narrow 2-0 victory. And I've got a second game for you guys, so let's jump directly into it. Same team. Man, I tell you what do you guys think about Glacial Lance? Do you like the Shadow Rider Calyrex better? Do you feel like that Glacial Lance is a better attack? Or do you like Astral Barrage? What is your preference? I mean, don't get me wrong, the special attacking Calyrex Shadow is really hard to stop. So, let me explain my team a little bit for Regulation G. So, Rillaboom actually leads into the team. It's got enough setup, and of course sets up the grassy terrain to knock out Kyogre. and also can fake out Kyogre or fake out something so that we can get Aurora Veil up. Choice Scarf Landers is always good. Terra Flying. And then, of course, we have Mr. Fury with the wide lens so that we don't miss Icicle crashes. The clear amulet onto Striker kind of makes no sense because of Defiant. I'll probably change that before the event. And then I've got all the way until May to test this team. And then, of course, we got the Colbur Berry on Sovereign. Looking at my opponent's team, Alvado. Alvado has quite a good team leading in here with Miraidon, Gastrodon, Amoonguss, Incineroar, Iron Bundle, and Iron Hands. What a fantastic team. You've got your Storm Drain shenanigans for Incineroar, I suppose. Plus Gastro is just decent. You've also got that Parabolic Charge that can go alongside Iron Hands, Amoonguss, and or Gastrodon because they take little to no damage and Gastrodon's immune to it, so you can just boost up probably like a Fairy Miraidon. Which I remember a tournament that I was in that Fairy Miraidon was really good. I can't remember if that's one of the season tournaments or last year's tournaments that I missed out on. But that was a really, really good tournament. So he's going to lead with Miraidon and Blotto. I'm going to lead with the Beatmaster and Vixen. I am completely good with putting the grassy terrain over the electric terrain. Now he does get that defense boost off of the electric seed. So that is unfortunate. But the grassy terrain will now cancel out the electric terrain, so that'll be really, really nice. It does weaken the power of ground moves, but I haven't really noticed that. I decided to actually go for a Blizzard turn 1. It's super effective versus both of them, and it might force a very early Terra. I think Fake Out is also the best play here. I really like Woodhammer Rillaboom. In the very last season tournament, or the very last Global Challenge, Rillaboom was phenomenal for setting up the grassy terrain and beating psychic terrain shenanigans. So, I've come accustomed to it quite well. Of course, we hit the Fake Out into the Miraidon so it can't move. The Blizzard comes off. They do protect, but Miraidon did not protect, and Miraidon is brought down to a sliver range, a very revengeable range for the Pokemon that I have, aka good old Trick Room Glacial Lance. I'm trying to think of what he actually can do to me. I do have the Freeze Dry. The Ninetales goes down without Aurora Veil because he launches off a Flash Cannon. I guess that's cool, because I decided to just kill his Gastrodon and eviscerate it out of existence with a Grassy Terrain boosted Choice Banded... Nope, that one's not Choice Banded. With a Grassy Terrain Woodhammer. I believe this is Assault Fest for Miraidon and the like. I've noticed Assault Vest Rillaboom to be really nice. High horsepower, Woodhammer, Fake Out, and Grassy Glide. What I actually decided to do is to go into Mr. Fury, because Mr. Fury can take a hit from this thing. We don't have a Focus Ashes. He goes out into an Amoonguss. I am absolutely afraid of this thing, because if I don't knock this thing out, it's going to spore one or both of my party members. My only hope is that Calyrex can take a couple of attacks from this thing. I have nothing to prevent this thing from going for Spore. There's nothing I can do to stop it. I suppose, in an alternative reality, no, Grass and Poison, so it's quad resistant to my Grass attacks. Yeah, there's really nothing I can do to this thing. And, here's another surprise. It's a Terra Pokemon, and it Terras into Dark. So, that's an issue, because now I know I can't kill it in one hit. And he did that on purpose so that he could live an Icicle Crash, which now does abysmally nothing. Draco Meteor comes into the Rillaboom and actually knocks me out even with Assault Vest. I was quite surprised about that. And now he can freely put Chi and Pal to sleep. Which wouldn't be that big of a deal if the fact was that Chi and Pal can still use its effects while it's asleep. The problem with this situation is now I've got it next to Calyrex, and Calyrex can't stop being slept. The only thing I can do is set up Trick Room and pray. And really, it just ranges on how fast I wake up. That's really the case here. The berry might be good in case, like, maybe he has, like, a healing berry of some kind. He won't be able to get it off because of Unnerve. But I don't think that's really going to matter. I decided to go ahead and go straight for Glacial Lance. I don't even think I bother setting up Trick Room here. There's kind of no point, because I know Glacial Lance will drop both of them in one shot. So I know for a fact that the Calyrex Ice Rider is actually very slow. One of the slowest Pokemon in existence. So is Glacial. However, we do not wake up with Chi and Pal. And then my heart starts to sink again when I see another Flash Cannon coming from Miraidon, but we take it amazingly. Like, the way that this thing is built is amazing. So I go for Glacial Lance and I start praying we can knock the Amoonguss out. But because it's Dark type, it lives on what must be abysmal 0 HP. And we're not awake. So guess what? We get put to sleep. Yeah, we get an attack boost. Yeah, we can break through whatever his next two Pokemon are. Except we get Spored. So now it all ranges on Chi and Pal and Frost Sovereign to wake up. What is the last Pokemon we have in reserve here? What is Amoonguss standing next to? Haka. Is that Iron Hands? No, that's Iron Bundle. That's even worse. So what I decide to do here is I go for the Sacred Sword into the Iron Bundle. And then I decide to set up the Trick Room. Because if there's any chance that I wake up and take some damage, then the Trick Room goes up and I kill Iron Bundle and I don't care anything about Amoonguss. Whatever Pokemon he doesn't sleep is the Pokemon I'll kill him with. However, he misses a Hydro Pump and Pollen Puff brings me to 55. Frost Sovereign is still asleep. I need something to wake up and do something. The snow stops on this turn. That means I take more damage now. However, Iron Bundle doesn't have any physical attacks, most likely. Doubt it has Flip Turn, not this late in the game. So it has no physical attacks that I have to worry about. So I need one of my Pokemon to wake up, because without the Trick Room, I still am faster. I think Iron Bundle is quite a bit faster, but, you know, Retro doesn't know his speed tiers. Frost Sovereign wakes up first. I go for a Protect, just trying to see what this thing wants to do to me. And my Mr. Fury wakes up as well. He outspeeds, knocks out the Amoonguss, so I don't have to deal with any more Spore shenanigans as I get hit by the Rocky Helmet. And even if he kills me right here and knocks out my Chi and Pal, then my Calyrex Ice is free to knock this thing out clean. But he targets into Calyrex Ice, and now I know for a fact that I'm faster and I can just knock him out with Sacred Sword. But then I also decide to go for Trick Room just in case it doesn't knock him out, which it doesn't. He hangs on by the Focus Sash, and I think this is... Oh, he doesn't have a Focus Sash. That's crazy. Blizzard, neither one of them get hit. I set up the Trick Room, and you know how this goes. I pierce through his heart with the Glacial Lance, and do remember, this unstoppable power has absolute 0 counters. Guys, thank you so very much. Thank you to Angel of the Night, Marie, all these brand new people watching my stuff, Reaper, all of the new 4 or 5 subs that I've gained, all of the almost 300 views on the Pokemon Blue series. You guys are incredible and amazing, and you guys deserve the best. I got more content, more videos, and everything on the way. Take care, goodbye, power on, power off, see you in Regulation G, and more for practice. Take care. See ya!